To see you back again, man. Are you ready for this title fight to continue here in the land just below the United States, still in North America, at one of the most legendary road course venues in the entire continent?
Yes, I'm ready. It's the last race before the winter break, and the drivers will want to continue to give it everything they've got, and it'll be crucial at this point to see who will win the race and see if they can continue that momentum heading in after the winter break with the final few races left.
Yeah, you make an absolutely excellent point. If you've been on a good upward swing over the last few races, like the likes of V8 Irons or Stone Shuffle, this race and performing well here today could really help carry that momentum forward. It's something that I would definitely be trying to do. But before we get too far into qualifying itself, I do want to go ahead and talk real quickly about the standings. Unfortunately, the men who are supposed to update the standings did not get updated. Gusty did not show up to last week's race. Shelby, Spark, and Stone Shuffle did both show up. Stone Shuffle, again, pulled more points than his two championship rivals, so he should have now overtaken Shelby Spark for second in the point standings, and the top three should all be within about 12 points of each other, as I last checked. V8 Irons also came off of a great win last week. A very, very strong win at that, starting near the front and pretty much cruising while everyone else was struggling at USA. And that, couple of Schumacher SF7 again not showing up, and Fiend having some poor luck mid-race, has pretty much locked V8 Irons into fourth in the point standings for the short term. I don't know if you could say that he would be a serious outside championship threat simply because the likes of Stone Shuffle, Gusty, and Shelby have put on extremely strong performances during points in this season. But maybe Irons could turn that kind of thing around.
Yeah, and we'll see what he could do, but this circuit can have its challenges, especially at the S's section. Like, it's very challenging there, like, just to master that, because if you make a mistake on one of those S's, that is ruining basically the whole lap, and that could lose you so much time and make you make you get overtaken in the race by the car behind. Also, and the main straight as well, that's a big factor where we can see overtakes as well. Because it's a long main straight, and turn one on other start on lap one, there's going to be chaos probably. Because it's so tight there.
Not to mention, turn one, not only is there going to be chaos on lap one, there will also likely be chaos on restarts. We saw yesterday in the XRL race, late in the event, a massive multi-car accident took place there that took out about 2 good drivers and damaged multiple other cars. Then also in qualifying for the realistic race yesterday as well, there was an accident near the end of Q1 which took 3 cars out. In qualifying, you hardly ever see a multi-car accident in qualifying, but the track had been wet until the last moment, so everyone tried to rush out on track in 5 minutes. You try cramming 19 drivers onto a circuit in 5 minutes, you're going to run out of real estate real quickly. Turns 1, 2, and 3 all are 90-degree corners pretty much, or very close to being 90-degree corners, and turn 1 comes right after the end of a very long straightaway where everyone's trying to maximize the draft. So, yeah, you're overloading the brakes. Brakes quite frequently end up being overheated and stressed to the limits around the circuit. Having an incident in Sector 1 isn't that surprising, sadly.
Yeah.
Alright, first team. Good.
Onboard with Plastic Love there, on the exit of the S's, that could probably be a common place we could be seeing people invalidate laps off of. Because it's very tight, and it's you can't really find a rhythm. I think some people cannot really find a rhythm on how to navigate that corner. So that'll be interesting as Plastic Love's just about to start his flying lap.
Runs really wide coming out of the final corner and has to actually back out of it on the straight because he had such a bad exit coming onto the main straight there.
Something's happening with Chubby and Gusty. They're both trying to heat up their tires.
2 of your rivals in the championship fight. Stone Shuffle the other one in the Mercedes. So it's Ferrari versus Red Bull versus Mercedes. Basically the top 3 teams in Formula 1 over the last, 11 years? All have a driver representing their brand here at X3 this season. It's been Gusty leading the point standings for the last few weeks, but Stone Shuffle honestly has been the more impressive driver. He basically was considered a massive outsider after having a very, very poor start to the season, missing races early on. He's been clawing back up, but Gusty has, on merit, capitalized very well off of the failures of Chubby. Early on in the season, Fiend was considered a strong championship fight, and then he went through something like 6 races in a row, not able to finish a single race, most notably at Zandvoort, where he was leading by a good 20 seconds with 7 laps to go, with only 8 cars on the track, before crashing out on his own 1 lap before the 90% mark, and therefore going from what would have been 25 points and plus the fastest lap point to absolutely no points whatsoever. And there's been an incident in Sector 1. That is a AlphaTauri, and I believe that is XRL Flavor, who has had a spin coming out of Turn 1. He's already gotten back away, though.
Yep. Well, Nissan's time of 1 minute 17.354 is the benchmark for it. Will be the benchmark, and who's the next one? Chubby will be the next one across the line. And he goes quicker, 1 minute 16.538. Oh, and
Gusty's finally set a lap at 1:16.935, but I imagine we could see him go a little faster.
Yeah. XRL Snake will be the next one. The McLaren coming through the stadium section right now.
Snake in the McLaren puts the power down out of the final corner. And across the line, he'll set a time of 1:16.646. It's the second best time we've seen thus far.
Oh, Plastic
Glove! And it's right there in the S's. And for Plastic, that's going to be nightmarish. He had not even gotten a lap in yet. He was in the middle of a flyer, pushed it too hard in the S's, and that car is totally off circuit. Oh, the other Red Bull just had to step out in the same area on track and very nearly collide into his teammate.
It was a bit of a frightening moment. That's that done.
Alright, into the party right now is Plastic Love. Plastic, go ahead, include your audio. Big accident coming out of the S's. What happened out there?
It just wasn't good. From the start, I just had wheel problems, audio issues. Then I was trying to make my way back to the pits, and I had a little bit of wheel issue, and it just sent me.
Alright, well, looking like you're going to be starting dead last. Do you think you can recover in the race?
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I mean, my weekend hasn't been too great on Mexico and other races, so we'll see.
Alright, well, hopefully you can make things work out better. You have a teammate out there that was definitely going to need your backup today.
Yeah, see what I can do.
Alright, we're going to go silent for about a lap and ride on board with the Mercedes driver Stone Shuffle. See what a lap is like around here in equal cars in the Mercedes AMG factory machine. Alright, and Stone Shuffle's slowest time thus far, 119.236. But it could be a lot worse. He had a massive step out there in the S's and just barely kept the car from spearing into the outside wall. He'll live to turn another lap at least, but that just goes to show how difficult everything's been. Something else that's been very difficult, Collie Boy had a lap he was in the middle of, invalidated very quickly by spinning out in Sector 1, basically right out of Turn 1. Now he's just trying to rip it around the circuit as quickly as he can to get another lap in, but it's not really going as well as he'd like it to. That's another Mercedes out, that's IAKBI. AKB is able to keep the car alive, but he's also stepped out in the S's like his teammate did.
So a whole gaggle of cars leaded by Fiend, and the back of it is Chubby, IX Spark, and the McLaren of Fradders is just pulling over to the left-hand side and letting those cars by. Currently in 6th right now for Fradders. This is very... not normally do we see this from Fradders in qualifying.
No. Also, something else of note, V8 Irons, I'd be looking to him to put down a good lap time because he got a great draft off his teammate Boothie going down the main straightaway. To the top, though, is Fiend.
Yeah, into the 115, so hopefully we can see more lap times into the 1 minute 15s. Stone Shuffle has improved, he's gone to a 1 minute 16.779, so that's him up to 5th.
But as one Alpine is soaring at the top of the time sheets, another one is struggling. Constant Jet in the middle of a lap has had a spin in the S's, and I didn't get a great look at it, but it looked like he may have damaged a left front end plate, and if so, he'll have to come into the pits to get that replaced. Yes, indeed, that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, here comes Irons. He got that great draft off his teammate. He sets the time of 1:16.523 at the line. So now 14 drivers have set lap times. 15 will advance to the next round of qualifying. And there we are. Now we're at 15. So Dave Ewart with a 118.607 is on the bubble. Plastic Love is out. X is the spot. Ocean Lion, Constant Jet, and Collie Boy are all in pit lane right now. So for the moment, Dave is in the best position he can to try and solidify his chance to get into the next round. Has that been another Alpine with an instant? No, Fiend's pulled over. Never mind. I thought Fiend may have had another instant because he was really, really slow there. And
Collie Boy's pulling over to the left-hand side. The right-hand side, actually, to let Chubby by. Stone Shuffle's joining him as well. Collie Boy's just came out of the pit lane. So, 7 minutes to go. We should be seeing both Williams drivers and Constant Jet probably try to come out now. And speaking of which, one of the Williams is coming out now, and that is Ocean Line 08. Going to be coming out for his first flying lap.
Looking at the way the times are going right now, I think that if you're in the 116s, you should be a safe lock into the next round of qualifying. 118s, I don't see any way that you're going to make it in with that. I think you'll have to be in the really low 117s to seriously make it into the next round.
The Haas team today is looking like on pace. Second and third at the top in Q1 so far, and it's looking quite good for them. So it'd be interesting to see if they could turn this qualifying pace into the race, which is an interesting factor that you've got to have in F1.
Also, I do want to go ahead and make apologies for a long time. I have called this driver we're following right now Jalabin. It's actually supposed to be pronounced Jalabin. I can't even fucking say it right. I'm sorry, but Jalabin, something like that. But I've been pronouncing it wrong all this time. I do dearly apologize. He called me out, rightfully so, in the series Discord about it. I will do my best to try and get that turned around properly so it's not triggering him every time that he has a race that he's partaking in.
It's gonna have to become a thing as well because you're so used to saying it a different way. Then you're gonna have to get used to the way he's wanting you to say it.
Yeah.
It'd be difficult.
You mean the way it should be said? Yeah. Well, apparently it could be worse. There are apparently some people calling him Bell End. So, and for those of you, oh, big accident! Collie Collie Boy hard into the wall, but he got lucky. He nailed the wall dead on with the nose, and although it ripped off the front wing, the tires are still on. He will be able to continue, but that was a massive accident by Collie Boy.
Yeah, very lucky to keep his car alive as well. But like, time is running out for him as well. He needs to get back into the pits. Basically, probably put on a new set of softs, and then go again. Stone Shuffle's retired in the pit lane, so he thinks he is safe.
I think he'd be right. I believe basically everyone in the top 8 in the times right now are all probably safe. Right now, Flavor's the only driver in the 118s he'll really need to pick up a lot. Ocean Lion, now he's coming around through the stadium section. I know that, normally I don't like these really slow, tight Mickey Mouse sections on race circuits. And I really, really miss the old Petrolda at Mexico, but I really do like the stadium section here. I think it's extremely iconic, and you can actually make some good dives there if you time it right.
1 minute 21.85, first the slowest time of the day for Ocean Lion, so he must have made a mistake somewhere in the lap. So he'll go again. Like, also the final corner, like I think it's Mansell Curve, I think it's called. That is like that corner is so crucial in the race because it sets you up for that main straight. And when you have DRS, when DRS is enabled, it'll be like that corner is crucial to get the good run on the driver for the slipstream and DRS.
Yeah. Flashback to 1990, back when it was a lawn full banked corner there, almost like a IndyCar styled oval corner in a sense, and they didn't have the giant baseball stadium in the infield.
Yeah.
The Petrolda, we saw Nigel Mansell go off there in the Ferrari in 1990. He fell through the field, and then with only like 6-7 laps to go, he mustered every bit that he could out of that car and charged his way back up through the grid to still finish second. One of Mansell's best drives, in my opinion, really highlighted what made him such a legend in an era full of legends. All right, Ocean Lion's finally improved a bit up to a 117.274. He's in for now, but exits the spot. Constant Jet and Collie Boy still have to set their time, so I wouldn't feel too confident if I was him right now.
Well, here comes Constant Jet round the final corner. Tight to the wall, 1:18.022, so that's going to be the slowest time. Exits the spot, is just now coming around the final corner, and he'll be starting his flying lap.
Riding on board with the Williams, the DRS opens up about the time you cross the starting line. This is one of the circuits, the start line and the finish line are not at the same place. The finish line is behind the start line here. You open up the DRS just about the time you cross the start line, and then you slam that thing shut just as you're getting into the braking zone. You try to straight line as many of the first 3 corners as possible. You get another DRS straight. This DRS straight is based off of the DRS that you had on the prior straight. Then you shut it down again. It's several more sets of 90-degree corners, very Mickey Mousey through this section. Followed up by what looks like a triangular corner on the map, but is really just 2 slightly strangely angled corners in reality. Then you dive into the S's. S's used to have a lot more character, in my opinion at least, back in the Champ Car days and in the old 80s and early 90s days of Formula 1 right here. But the S's now are still a formidable challenge for modern Formula 1 cars. Then you dive into the stadium section. It's a 90-degree corner that comes right after a short DRS zone. If the driver ahead made a mistake, it's a perfect spot for you to close in an overtake. Then you come out. And Constant Jet's crashed right in front of the road of X.
Oh,
well,
Nissan GTR's also crashed. He's crashed on the exit of the S's.
And that car is halfway on the race circuit, and that's going to compromise Collie Boy's lap and Flavor. And for Flavor, seeing his teammate out like that, this could not go very good for him. Collie Boy had to invalidate as well to not hit Nissan. So it's gone from bad to worse now, it seems, in these closing moments.
Yeah.
All right. So as it stands right now, Nissan's time of 117.167 is a time you'll need to beat. Constant Jet is retiring in the pit lane. He admits that there's no way for him to make it in. So right now the question is, Dave Ewart, Flavor, and Collie Boy, do any of them have what it takes to make it into the next
Dave's
round
at
of
the pit line.
qualifying?
He's out.
So now it's just between Flavor and Collie Boy. Flavor has a bit of a draft off of the Ferrari. That would be Punitive Shoe on circuit. Collie Boy is clean track for him. What can he do?
The fuel light is flashing, so he's getting low on fuel.
The good
Hopefully
news is
he
this
has
means that
enough
the
for
car will
that.
be very light. The bad news, though, is that he will likely run out and might not be able to make it in. The time is up in the session. Exits the spot coming into the pits now. Dives into stadium as Flavor comes through stadium and into the final corner for a last time. Can Flavor or Collie Boy advance to the next round of qualifying? The answer, no for Flavor. He does improve, but not enough. What about Collie Boy? No, he's in! Collie Boy barely makes it in by the skin of his teeth with a 1:17.238. And if Wild Nissan had not crashed out, that time would not have been enough for Collie Boy.
Yeah, indeed as well. So very lucky for Collie Boy to make it in into Q2. So that'll be interesting. See what he can do.
All right. Real quickly, as we look at the drivers who did and didn't make it, we want to talk to Wild Nissan GTR. Nissan, go ahead and include your audio. You had a great lap early on at the start of the session, but as the times continued to fall, you went back out there, and the car could not hold up. What happened out there? Oh, and he bounced. 1 second. Let me try getting back in here.
Yeah.
Anyways, the drivers that will not advance will be Wild Nissan, Ocean Lion, Dave Ewart, XRL Flavor, Constant Jet, and Plastic Love. Constant Jet, it's been a very rough season for him this year, but last week he finally turned it around in part. He finally was able to run at the finish of a race. I think that's only the second time this season he's been able to do so. Still has not yet earned any points this season, but mad respect for the fact that he's been willing to put a stiff upper lip and keep traipsing forward and try to make it work.
Yeah, not giving up as well. Like you probably have a few drivers would probably just have given up.
I wouldn't have
down to
bothered.
reserve
If I'm 15 races into a season and I've not scored a single point, then obviously it's not worth the effort. In my opinion at least, I'm just reducing the quality of the field, and I would leave and give the seat to somebody who is better.
Yeah.
All right, so now we come into qualifying. Torpedo, you do race in XRL on a much, much more serious level than I do, obviously. So when it comes to tire strategy here, what do you think is the optimal tire to start the race on?
Oh, I think to start off with, probably like the softs, because you would start. I think starting on the softs would be a good idea because it's like there's a high chance of a lot of safety cars, so like that can happen. If there's like midway through the race and you're on the mediums and it's like there's a safety car and it's like towards like middle part of the race towards the end, throw on some softs probably and then just charge at it. But I think starting on the softs would be a good idea, like, to start off with. And there'll probably be some people's second plan because people will obviously want to start in the mediums just to try and go long, like into the race. But that it just gets thrown out the window if you do that, because like with other drivers crashing out as well, that'll cause like safety cars and probably ruin like people that are on the that have started on the mediums. That strategy is ruined for them.
All right, right now, looking on pit road, it seems like the tire allocation choice for the moment is soft dominance. 10 drivers with softs, 4 of them with mediums at the moment. There's only one driver with the medium tires out on track, that's Jay Levin. And his teammate Lucky Doo is out there on circuit as well. He'll be the first one to set a lap time, and he's on the soft. So we'll get a good idea as to how the medium tires and soft tires compare on pace very quickly in this session. Haas's are the first two to cross the line. One other thing to watch will be Chubby Spark. He made it work somehow at Coda, but he took his normal qualifying strategy of turning his first lap on soft tires without pushing the ERS whatsoever, and then going hard on mediums later using ERS. It's a very risky strategy at tracks like this or at USA where the difference between mediums and softs are massive, but he made it work at America. Can he make it work here? That's going to be the question. Oh, and Gusty's had an instant. It's on his outlap, but Gusty's had an instant.
Warming up the tires. But it needs to be careful because Lucky Dog is coming. And he's going, out of the way.
That invalidates Lucky Do's lap, sadly.
Ooh, that's not good.
So now the point goes to J11 to go ahead and set the lap time here. The one that everyone will be chasing, at least for first period of the day. I'll say this, if this many drivers elect to stick with soft tires early on in the session, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of crazy tire changing going on late in the session. Only a 117.978 from the Haas. I think it goes without saying, there's not a lot of speed in those mediums here at all.
Yeah. And I think that's, might mean that if you're on the mediums and you're going to set a lap, you're going to have to go on the softs at the end of qualifying, because it won't be like guaranteed safe into Q3.
Well, Chubby did not put a very good lap on the softs because he was holding back on the ERS, only a 118.6. So with a time like that, yeah, I think his priority should be to jump back into the pit lane as soon as possible.
Oh,
the focus now goes back. Jay Laban has just had a spin also in the S's.
Luckily not to get, I don't think he got damaged though, but that was it.
XRL Fiend has also invalidated his lap as well, so a bunch of things all of a sudden happening at once.
Yeah. And yeah, no damage seems to be on the Haas, so that's all. It's just a lucky escape for him. But
Lucky Do 116.001 on the soft tire. So right off the bat, the fastest medium to the fastest soft tire compound, almost 2 seconds of pace difference between them. Boothie now on an outlap, as is XRL Snake. Fiend, he invalidated his first lap. He's going for another one. Punitive Shoe, V8 Iron, Stone Shuffle, all of them also on laps right now. Punitive Shoe is actually getting a little bit fortunate. If Shelby's staying out another lap, which looks like he will, Punitive will get a little bit of a draft off of his teammate going down the straight. Now, Punitive has the medium tires on, so if they're really going to commit to trying to start the race on mediums, this could help Punitive significantly. Shelby does not pull over until turn 2, but shouldn't have blocked Punitive's time at all. So now it's all up to him. What can Punitive do? He got a good helping of draft down the straight. And he's laying hard on the ERS. Maybe this will help him make up more ground that he'll need to make it into Q3. Fratter's on a cooldown lap right now, as is Chubby. Exits the spot, is on his out lap, and Boothie is in the middle of his flyer. AKB is finally coming out of pit lane. Alright, coming into the party now is Wild Nissan GTR. Nissan, can you hear us? Alright, go ahead, make sure audio's included. You had a really good time early on in Q1, but as the times fell, you went back out there to go again. You ended up not making it in, crashing out. What happened out there? Well, sadly, neither AlphaTauri able to make it out of Q3. Q1 in that scenario, do you think the two of you can make it back up through the grid? All right, well, do you think points are at least in the equation for you today? Man, that's a lot of confidence. Here's fingers crossed and hoping you can make that start through the field work then.
All themes at the top. One with a 15.750.
Right, thank you very much, Nissan, for jumping in and talking with us. Sorry about the issue first time we tried to invite you in. Alright, so as we turn our focus back in onto the track for qualifying, Shelby Sparks' time of 1:18.687 is on the bubble. Boothie had a spin on his first lap, so he's only at 1:30.2 right now. But this is the kind of scenario that Boothie specializes in, maximizing everything out of the car in a single lap. He is one of the best qualifiers in X3, has been in X3, mastering that art for years. His in-race ability leaves a little bit to be desired, but in single lap pace, he's one of the most exciting people to watch in the entire series. He's basically the qualifying version of X2's Yun Maneuver. Yun Maneuver puts on some amazing, impressive drives in races. Is a little bit lacking in quality. Boothie is just the opposite. He is one of the best drivers to watch in qualifying. All right, Boothie has improved up to a 1:18.032 now. He's still sticking with the medium tires. As it stands now, though, Fratters and Shelby Spark are on the outside looking in. Both of their times are in the 18s, so I think it looks very obvious to me. A time in the 18s, there is no way you're going to make it in. AKB and the other Mercedes is coming out of the final corner now. He will set a lap time of 1:17.144. So the top 7 times, all dominated by soft tire compounds.
But Fiend has had his time like 3 lap old soft, so if the wear is... The wear might be a bit, it's not like horrible. So that'll be interesting at the race start.
It could also be interesting here because if someone came out onto the track right now and just filled up their car a little more than normal, they could seriously consider cranking out 2 or 3 hard laps instead of just trying to underfuel and hoping that they can extract the most out of the tires. If the tires aren't peaking immediately in a single lap and you can actually get good, reliable speed out of them for 2 or 3 laps, I would most definitely consider doing that if I was in the position of like exit the spot, punitive shoe, J-Laban, or Boothie, Fratters, Cubby. Yeah. Exits the spot, finally coming down pit lane. There's less than 5 minutes left in the session at the moment. And everyone who is outside of the top 7 has set their times on mediums with the exception of Chubby. Chubby has set his time on softs, but with no ERS attempt. And no one in the bottom 8 is on track right now. The only 2 cars on track at the moment, actually, is J-Laban and AKB. And I believe AKB is coming into the pits now. So, this is going to get very hairy, I think, because we're likely going to see a bunch of drivers trying to get onto the track at the exact same time. For Snake, exits the spot in punitive shoe. This is going to be aggravating because right now they're in, and Stone Shuffle retires in the pit lane. He feels very confident with a 1:15.9 right now.
But yeah, there we go. Right, Boothie's gonna come out. Is coming out now. V8 Irons, his teammate, is just retired as well.
Now we're seeing the other McLaren. So both Snake and Fratters are making their way down pit lane. J-Laban is on a cooldown lap and will bring it into the pits. I think he's probably done for the session with only 3.5 minutes left. You basically need 3 minutes to get 1 lap in, so I don't think he's going to get back out on track in time to get another lap. I might be wrong, but I wouldn't put money on that. No movement yet in the Ferrari pit for Chubby or Punitive Shoe. Exits the spot. Now he's coming out onto the circuit. And as I say that, here we are. The 2 Ferraris are both coming out at the same time. Punitive Shoe this time is leading his teammate Chubby. So all of a sudden, in a windfall, nearly everybody is out on track. if I was in AKB's scenario, I would be a little bit concerned right now because he does not have a teammate willing to work with him. So even if he went out on circuit, there's no guarantee he could actually improve on time. The advantage that the McLarens and the Ferraris have is that they both have teammates. Snake is trying to drag Fratters forward. Punitive looks like he's going to try. Well, no, Chubby's back in front of Punitive. So it looks like Chubby's going to try and drag Punitive forward to the next round. So we could see some teammate shenanigans going on here. Boothie crossing the line now for a flyer. All right, Gusty has retired from the session. Lucky Doo is now the only driver in the top 6 who has not retired yet, but with less than 2.5 minutes left, I don't think he's going to have a chance to get out there and seriously get a lap in. Or maybe not, because AKB is now coming down pit lane now. He thinks he can squeeze one in.
It's a bold move from Gusty as well, because he can get knocked out though. He could. There's still an opportunity for him to get knocked out if everyone goes quicker. And also, AKB, he'll probably have a time for one flying lap, so if he makes a mistake and gets that or invalidates, that is it. That could be his qualifying over.
When it comes to tires right now, Chubby is committing to the medium tires. He is not alone. X hits the spot, also has mediums on. X seriously believes he can make it in. Chubby might be able to drag Punitive Shoe to a good time and then try to get Punitive to drag him forward using draft on the front straightaway, depending on how they time it.
Here comes Boothie now around the final corner.
Boothie was on the outside. Will this get him in? He's up by a full second.
Yep,
He's in. 116.624. That pushes Gusty down to 7th now.
Right, Fridays is invalidated, so he'll have another attempt just to go at it. And Snake goes into the pits. That's a bold move from him.
Snake is only 9th right now with a 117.3. He may have only been out there to help Fratters with the draft, but because Fratters been bottled the cleanliness of that lap, it basically was a loss.
Yeah, and he actually, if Chubby and Punitive Shoe both improve, they are both going. Snake can get knocked out and exits the spot is ahead of him.
Snake on the bubble now. Here comes Punitive Shoe to the line.
Yeah, that's all.
He's in. 116.888. Chubby just barely inches in. 117.198. But X is cooling down. He's on a cooldown lap. So what can Fratters do? Fratters trying to squeeze out one of the championship contenders here. Seven seconds left on the clock. Just a few more corners left in Stadium for Fratters. He's up by 4/10. That would be enough to get him over Chubby. McLaren seems a little bit slow there in the Stadium section. But I think he'll still be good enough to be in. He just needs to be at 198. No, well, huh? Okay. Well, he set a time of 117.544. So
this lap from AKB doesn't really need to be set because he's pretty much through, I think.
And exits the spot is on a cooldown lap, so it looks like the session is in. And just like what happened last week, Chubby makes him with the skin of his teeth, and he is the only driver in the top 10 who will be starting on the medium tire compounds. And not just that, both Ferraris are in as well. So some excellent strategy from the Ferrari team. Punitive Shoe also just went faster there, 116.4. Gusty got lucky deciding when he decided to retire because he is still in. So all 3 of our championship contenders will advance into Q3 here.
Yep, real shame though from both McLarens and exits the spot. Also Collie Boy, who never got going after an earlier crash. But that's how it is though. Just now they're just gonna make it up in the race.
This could be very interesting though for Chubby because yes, he may have the medium tires that will last him a long time, but you made this comment a few minutes ago, Torpedo. The softs do not seem to fall off after a single lap when you're hoofing it. You can make them go 2-3 laps. Now in the race itself, all these drivers, they may have a few laps on their tires, but they could probably push them a decent way. It's not like Chubby's going to just have to wait for 3 laps and then he'll start inheriting positions.
Yeah.
All right, well, XRL Fiend is the fastest at the end of that session. He sets a time of 1:15.750. It was a duel between Fiend and Irons for pole last week, but this week it seems like Lucky Do in the Haas and Stone Shuffle in the Mercedes want to play spoiler in that fight.
Now we'll be going to Q3. The most now see who's going to be on pole. Very crucial moments.
Mm-hmm. All right, as we now begin to move into the next round of qualifying here.
And looks like Lucky though is going to be the first one out in Q3 with believe it will be V8 Irons and Gusty following suit as well.
So there are three teams that are all in good positions to get themselves, great times here using some teammate shenanigans down the straight. Both Ferraris are in this final round of qualifying, both Haas's are in, and both Aston Martins are in. Now the question though is, within those teams, who elects to do what? Who elects to say, okay, look, I'll go ahead, I'll sacrifice a lot of time, because again, Q3 is only 12 minutes long. Who says, okay, I will sacrifice my time to help you? And who says, okay, I will want you to sacrifice your time to help me? It's kind of that thing. There are some teams where there's obviously been a bit of a plain number 1 and number 2 driver. The Ferrari team, most of the season has seen Schumacher SF7 being the number 2 driver, and he's been very willing to help Shelby Spark after about the 5th race of the season. But Schumacher's still on leave, so it's Punitive Shu who's taking over that seat. In the Aston Martin pit, Boothie and Irons kind of run their own strategies. I don't see the two of them interacting too often on the track. In the Haas team, it's kind of the same thing. Lucky Do and Jay Lebend have both put on great runs, but somewhat independent of each other. So I don't know if those two teams will figure out a way to kind of sandbag one way or another to help the other driver, if that makes sense. I hope what I'm saying makes sense and it doesn't sound like I'm just pointlessly rambling.
Yeah. Also,
right.
Lucky thing to know, it's not going to do with this weekend, but for the Abu Dhabi circuit, it will be the normal one. It'll be like the old one, not with the updates.
Ew.
Yeah. So I think it's a bit of a bummer for the drivers when it comes to that race. Unless Codemasters update it, but I don't think they will.
I hope that Codemasters goes ahead and updates it, because don't get me wrong, I like older Abu Dhabi. I don't think it's a great circuit, but I think it's like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 track. But now that's been updated and, been straightened out a bit, rounded out in some corners that needed it, I think it's not necessarily the greatest, but one of the better circuits on the current Formula 1 calendar. All right, Lucky Do crosses the line. So the time that everyone's going to be chasing here is going to be a 1:15.981.
V8 Irons has invalidated it, so it'll be Gusty that'll be the next one.
Gusty set his lap really early in Q2 and then retired, so he must feel real confident, but it's not a great lap for the pole, at least 1:16.7.
Then it's going to be Chubby, and then it'll be Stone Shuffle.
So your next two championship contenders going through the stadium section now. It looks like the Ferrari teams are working on their own right now, not really a whole lot of help. Shelby to the top,
No, Stone
115.954,
Shuffle.
and Stone Shuffle beats that with a 115.877.
And now it'll be basically down to their teammates. Let's see what they can do.
Laban now going through the S's. Oh, but he invalidates in the last corner of the S's. And he had used a decent amount of ERS as well. So now that means that focus goes to IAKB and Punitive Shoe. They'll be the next two across the line.
On the exit of the S's, so that's going to cost him a bit of time. Luckily, he's not invalidated though.
No, but it definitely cost him enough time that if he wanted to seriously contend for the pole, he'll have to go for another lap.
Oh, and back end as well went a bit. Punitive Shoe goes fourth, and AKB goes the slowest time, 1 minute 17.064. Punitive Shoe has a time of 1 minute 16.637. Boofy will be the next one to set a lap time.
Through the S's now. A lot of confidence in the Aston Martin coming out of the S's, it looked like. Now, I don't know if he had entered very slow or what, but he seemed to have a lot more faith and control in that car that time than most of the other drivers I've seen. Through Stadium now. And out of the final corner. To the line. And will be in the 116s, 116.060. It's the fourth best time thus far for Boothie. Laban coming to the line. The fuel lights flashing very aggressively. Is he coming in? No, he's going to stay out. He's committing to this lap. 116.3.
And V8 Irons is just coming around the final corner now as he will be setting his lap.
AKB is finally coming into the pit, as does Punitive Shoe. 116.027, so the Aston Martins are very comparable to each other when it comes to times. Goofy's still out on circuit. He's punishing those tires. This is the second lap he's done on them. And we're seeing now movement coming out of pit lane. That's XRL Fiend. He's finally coming out onto the circuit. And Boothie has invalidated his lap. Lucky Do is up by 73 thousandths at the end of Sector 1 alone. What about the end of Sector 2? Well, is he still up? The answer, yes, he's up by 4 tenths. If Lucky can keep this together, this should lock up pole for him. Final corner for the Haas of Lucky Do. 1:15.707. He lost some of the time in Stadium. I think we might be able to see someone else get really close to that before this session is done. And one of those drivers who can get close to it is this man here, XRL Fiend. Boothie going another lap, just punishing ever-living everything out of those tires right now. Of your championship contenders, your points leader Gusty is currently 8th on the timesheet. Second, Stone Shuffle is 2nd on the timesheets. 3rd in the points, Shelby is 3rd on the timesheets. But we're now seeing movement in the Mercedes camp. Both Mercedes cars coming out. Will AKB give Stone Shuffle a draft down the straightaway to help his teammate try and secure a pole? Oh, and Lucky Dude's had a spin in the S's. No damage by the looks of it. But if he wanted to go for another faster lap, he's compromised this one. Fuel lights flashing. I don't think he'll have a chance for another flyer. Fiend, the wild card in this. He set all of his best times without any teammate help thus far. It's a purple Sector 1 for Fiend. He is the only driver who has not yet set a lap. Now we're seeing a Ferrari coming out onto the circuit, and Gusty is coming out as well. The Ferrari is coming out It looks like it's going to be Chubby, I believe.
No, it's punted this
No,
shoe.
it's punitive. If Chubby wants to get out there and improve on his time, he's going to have to do it sooner rather than later. There he is. He's starting his trek out now with 1 minute and 49 seconds left. Irons to the top now. 1:15.626.
Around that final corner, what is his time going to be? It's not going to be quick. It's a 1 minute 16.269. It's not only good enough for 6th fastest. AKB's just started his lap, and so is Stone Shuffle.
And Fiend has already used up more than half of the ERS in that car, so although the car's going to be lighter now and have less fuel in the tank, he's not going to be able to put as much power down in the straights now. Fuel lights starting to flash. Now it's flashing consistently for Fiend. I don't think he has a chance at seriously going up in times. Gusty going very slow right now, trying to open up as much gap as he can between himself and the Aston Martin ahead, but he's going to run the risk of maybe letting the Haas behind run over him. Punitive shoe crosses the line to begin another lap.
Oh no, Stone Shuffle's invalidated.
And with only 34 seconds left, 33 seconds left, can Stone Shuffle make it to the line in time for another flyer?
Here comes AKB.
Fiend moves up again. Now he's in the 15s with a 15.9.
Stone Shuffle coming through the final corner with 10 seconds to go. And it's done over 8 remaining.
And in the end, will Irons be able to make it to the line? Irons not even going to try. He brings it into the pits. He thinks that he's locked the pull up. Time's up. Over. Plow!
Onto the shoes, invalidated. That's the Ferrari done. It'll be then, like,
Gusty, who's been pushed down to 10th, trying to improve right now on the run into the S's.
But yeah, Fiend just pulled over to the side. He won't be starting at the front.
Oh no, Gusty! Hard into the wall! The car is destroyed in the middle of the S's! And here comes Chubby Spark! His lap's gonna be compromised, possibly!
Nah. Oh, no. Seems fine. AKB got past that. They're getting past it okay, it seems. Here comes Chubby Spark running the final corner. Crossing the line, it's going to be 1 minute 50.386, his provisional pole. But Stone Shuffle's down on his time, it seems, in the middle sector, only marginally. What can he do anything on this lap? It's on the power.
To the line.
1 minute 15.670.
He's up to third.
That's qualifying over.
Yep.
We can try and get.
We'll try. Yeah. Please go ahead and try Gusty in here. That was a massive shunt that he took in the S's. And Chubby, persevering through it all, and even without drafting help, nailed a 1:15.386. He'll be starting on the front row with Irons. And this could be the charge that Chubby needs to start regaining the championship form he had earlier in the season.
Yeah, and all going to be down into the race as well, because it's a long way down to turn 1. Being up front and having a good start doesn't really mean you're going to lead into turn 1. So
yeah,
it's going to be down to V8 Irons as well for that. And also Chubby's going to be on the medium, so that'll be somewhat of a disadvantage, I think, for him at the start.
Now, you do make a good point. It looks like it should be an easy lead for Irons and Stone Shuffle, but for Chubby starting on the mediums, but starting on the front row, as long as he doesn't completely bottle the initial race start, he should be able to hang around in the upper points paying position and be on better tires later on in the race when other people have no choice but to go on some mediums themselves. Again, you are required to use at least 2 different tire compounds in the race. The only exception is if it's a full wet weather race, in which case, if you want to stay on intermediates for the entire day or stay on wets the entire day, you could.
Yeah.
It's not. I will say this, though. For Irons, absolutely great job last week at America. Mexico, it's a circuit that has a lot of similarities. It's not the same, but it has a lot of similarities to Coda in Texas. So I can't really say that I'm surprised that he's pulled out 2 front row starting positions here. I think Irons, assuming that time penalties won't be a massive issue, I think Irons will be in serious contention for the race victory today. So now we're just in the 5-minute countdown until we get to the start of the race itself. But again, I wanted to say this right now. Championship battle, the closest it's been all season long. All 3 drivers within about 15 points of each other right now. I can't give you the exact number, sadly, because the person in the Discord server for XRL that's supposed to update points did not update points after last week, sadly, despite saying that he would get it done with before this race. Yes, I'm calling him out, though I won't call him out by name. But I have been somewhat keeping a running tally in my head of where the point standings are. And all 3 will be within 15 points of each other. Gusty, who's starting 10th, will be leading. And then second will be Stone Shuffle, and he's starting 3rd. And then starting on the front row, on medium tires while everyone else is on soft, starting from the pole is going to be Chubby, and he's 3rd in the point standings right now. So this could go a lot of interesting ways, to say the least. Also, speaking of which, I do want to go ahead and talk real quickly about the way that the season has gone for those 3 drivers. Excuse me, real quickly. So Stone Shuffle, he started with a 13th place finish to open the season up with, and he didn't really start coming alive until we got to about France. And after we've got to France, he has not finished lower than 6th in a single race. And every time he's finished 6th or better in that time frame, he has been ahead of one, if not both, of the championship contenders. The only time that's not been the case is when they were at what did we do before Japan? I'm trying to remember what it was before Japan. Singapore. Singapore. Yeah, at Singapore, Gusty was 5th over Stone Shuffle. But that's the only time that anyone's actually been able to maintain an increased gap over Stone Shuffle throughout most of that time. Now, granted, Stone Shuffle did not show up and was not able to get points at all for the Netherlands event, but still, it's been extremely, extremely significant, to say the least, that he's been able to just bounce back from a relatively underwhelming start. And then you look at Gusty. Gusty has 2 wins on the season and a few podiums, but he's been trying to win this championship in the way that we've seen X3 champions of the past win. I'm talking like back in the older games, where they just constantly finish in the points-paying positions. But the thing is, for him, finishing constantly in the points-paying positions is just top 10. When Stone Shuffle's constantly top 6, top 5, that's not good enough. Shelby, on the other hand, he's gone out there, he's basically put the knee on the field's neck early on throughout the first 40% of the season, and then he's just kind of fallen off. He's had some absolutely great, fantastic drives, but he's asked so much of the car. He's been pushing all the time. It's made for some absolutely fantastic watching, but it also has led him to lose more than a race worth of points in the last 4 or 5 events alone. Then he's also been involved in a few controversial accidents. He went through a long period there where he really didn't even finish a single race, despite being one of the fastest people on track.
Yeah. It's going to be a crucial one, I think. Another crucial race in terms of like the championship, because it, like, obviously this race will really like set up the winter break, give the driver who will be at the top of the championship time to reflect so far in the season, and also just time to get practice in for the next Grand Prix, which will be at Brazil, and that track is an iconic one. It's just a shame though it's not the final race of the season like last year when we had the shortened 16 race, I think, shortened season, and that was the final round, because we are about to go racing.
All right, I'll be focusing on the front of the field per
in the
usual.
back.
See what will
I'll
V8
be-
Irons do to be able to get the start going. 4 lights, 5 lights.
We're off.
And it's lights out, and away we go here, and there's a jump from the back by the Alpine of Fiend. He jumped to start right off the bat, that's already up to third. Irons goes right to the front as Chubby falls in line behind him. Fiend looking to the outside, now he dives to the inside to try and get by Chubby, going into turn 1.
Was it clean? Is it clean? Yes it is. It's all Snake's been put force off a bit wide. So far, it looks like it's been clean off the start. Flavor and Ocean Line have been hanging a bit back.
Gusty had a very strong start. He's already up into the 8th position.
Bust
Stone
it off.
Shuffle slipped down to 5th.
Bust it off almost there. I think make a little bit of contact with Snake's rear wheel. The true test of the S's. What's going to happen? Snake is side by side with Colour Boy into the first S's, or first part of the S's. And Snake does get that moved on up into 16th place, and he'll be chasing that. Going after Constant Jet, who runs wide, and it's an is it an easy
Fiend
move?
and Chubby neck and neck through the stadium section. Lucky Dude is there ready to capitalize. Chubby got a good exit coming out of stadium, and it's left Fiend open to attack from Lucky Dude.
Constant Jet survived the attack of the McLaren for the time being. Constant Jet up 4 places off the start, by the way, and Dave is up 4. So if we stop.
Your mic is completely crapping out right now, Torpedo. All I'm hearing is static. Lucky Dude gets by Fiend, and Fiend has a twitch now coming out of turn 3. That leaves him open to attack from Stone Shuffle. Stone Shuffle has his teammate AKB, though, trying to work on him. And V8 Irons opens up over 2 seconds of the lead in a single lap alone. Outstanding job on his part.
Travis has managed to make a move on Positive Shoe for 9th, so very nice move from him.
Oh, but they come back! The McLaren makes a bit of a mistake in the S's, and Pierre Chou comes right back by him. Fratters goes off circuit to try and gain control of the car. He's behind the Ferrari, makes a dive bomb into the stadium section, but can't commit to it. He'll stick around the outside of the Ferrari, but does not have the traction necessary to make it work. Now exits the spot, is in a position to fight with him.
Positive Shoe got back past Fratters. It seems yellow flag, and that's plastic out. He's hit the wall. Safety car's been deployed. Don't know if it will turn into a full safety car, but that's very disappointing. That's a shame for Plastic, because he was after qualifying as well, crashing out first in the race.
And that same place that yesterday in the realistic race, Ozda had his massive crash on lap 2 as well. So I wonder, all right, coming to the party now is Plastic Love. Plastic, go ahead and include your audio. Big accident there. Yesterday in the realistic race, a driver crashed out when the wires for the throttle and the brake got crossed over by the game. Did that happen here? Well, it's a shame. Oh, contact between Chubby and Fiend. Fiend made a dive bomb on Chubby, couldn't make it stick, and he goes all the way out the circuit and out of the points. All right, as you were saying, Plastic, I'm sorry to cut you off, but go on. Go on.
Ooh, close. Oh, Stone Shuffle's
Stone
gone
Shuffle!
round. He's lost his whole wing.
And he's not the only one. Pierre Chou also had an incident with him, but Pierre Chou was able to immediately get into pit lane. Stone Shuffle needs to start moving fast, or he'll get penalized for not moving, but the entire front wing's been ripped off that car. Boothby exits the spot, fighting for position. Alright, Plastic Love, I do want to say thank you for being willing to jump in. It's a shame to see this year end with the early DNF for you. Hopefully you can rebound in 2022 when they come to Brazil. Oh, contact! And AKB and Gary Elbin go off circuit there and let's Gusty get by them and start opening up the gap now. There's stuff happening all over the circuit. I can barely keep up with it all right now.
Well, I'm on board with Bob Nissan. He almost had a off of the S's. Luckily to keep it going. He's lost a bit of time to Dave Ewart. It's effectively a DRS train that's held up by Fradders.
Yeah, exactly. You said it's a DRS train that Fradders is leading right now, so Nissan will have the advantage of at least having DRS and hopefully not losing too much more time off of this group. But for one of your championship contenders, Stone Shuffle, an accident on the restart after the end of the VSC leaves him with no front wing, and although he has fresh medium tires, he is buried back there. Nearly two-thirds of, actually more than two-thirds of a lap down, closer to three-quarters of a lap down.
He'll be banking on a safety car, like, to happen pretty much soon. Like, just to help him close up to the field and get his race back on track.
The good news for Stone Shuffle is that he's on the medium tires now. If he stays at least 2 laps on those medium tires and a safety car comes out, he can jump in, throw on a set of softs while people who were on softs already throw on mediums, and he would have faster tires and might be able to make his way up through the field a bit. Boothby is now snaked by, exits the spot there in Sector 2.
Yeah, I'm still watching on this end, I had a good view of that, so very aggressive move, or somewhat aggressive move from Griffey. Well, that was close between Snake and Bob Nissan.
Dave looking to the outside of exits the spot in Stadium. Can't make it stick. He leaves the door open for Nissan. And now here comes Snake.
There's plenty of contact. Exits the spot, got contact. He got damage from the booth from Boofy. So it's going to put him down the field.
And now everyone in this pack has DRS together going down this straightaway. So realistically, Snake's trying to make a mission all on his own, and he'll actually lose a bunch of positions because he just does not feel that he can make it stick. He will come back against Ocean Lion, though, down the next straightaway.
Yeah. That's just the nature of the circuit, though. You have DRS on the main straight, and you're still behind the car in front, it will get DRS again. It sounds a bit confusing, but it somewhat makes sense.
Alright, well, at this point in the race, it looks like the soft tires have fallen off a bit. Shelby Spark has stabilized in 3rd position on his medium tires. He's about 6.5 seconds out from race leader V8 Iyer. In 2nd place, Lucky Do has kind of split them not quite evenly. He's a little bit closer to Shelby than he is to Irons, but no one in the top 4, no one within the top 5 really is within DRS striking zone of each other. AKB does have DRS that he's able to use on Gusty. Gusty right now the only driver with time penalties at this point in the event. I honestly thought we'd see a lot more time penalties already in this race.
Yeah. Despite, well, this end seems to be an Alfa Romeo sandwich. Try to close up on Dave Ewart, but with Colliboy just behind him.
Alright, Boothby uses DRS to complete an overtake on Fradders, so Boothby is making a nice little trek upwards through the field. He's now up into 7th position. Fradders is behind, looking for a way to fight back and try to take that spot back, but Boothby has corner of choice for these next few corners, and Fradders spins on his own. Fradders puts the power down too aggressively there and turns 5, goes right around, and he goes right out of the points down to 14th position.
Oh, that...
And he'll join that massive DRS train now that has formed behind Dave Ewart.
Oh, it's a shame for Fradders because he was doing so well off that start. No, he's went on the grass and spun.
Car comes to a rest backwards, just off circuit. Gets going again now. Dave Ewart's just gotten by Wild Nissan for the 8th position, but now Nissan will have DRS on the Alpha going down the main straightaway. This ain't gonna work, boys. There are way too many cars in this group that have DRS. I think Dave's gonna get eaten up. AKB pitting, and he's gonna jump into the pits to put on a new set of soft tires. Here comes Nissan. He dives to the inside of Collie Boy.
Well, Fiend's going to pick up the pieces here. He's going to go run the. He's going to go into the inside of Ocean into turn 3, and he's done it. Very nice move from Fiend up into 11th place. His fight back is continuing, and it's getting helped massively from this DRS strength by Dave Ewart.
Dave cut the circuit and lost time.
Oh, that's a shame.
Now this leaves Dave open to attack from Collie Boy. The softs are falling off enough that the mediums are starting to become a viable option. Now Irons has a time penalty out there in the lead by himself.
It's showing how the softs. I think the softs are starting to go off now. If the drivers are getting penalties, that's a sign. That's Constant Jet off. He's had a spin on the S's, and that's his front wing gone as well, I believe. Yes,
and that's a virtual safety car. The entire front wing's ripped off. Chubby Spark takes advantage of the VSC. He's going to jump in and take off the medium tires. And will likely throw on softs to the end of the race.
The bold call.
There's still 27 laps left to go. Hards, okay.
Fiend is like
Gusty elected to pit as well.
It's a weird strategy from Chubby, because the hards are not really a tire you want to go on, because you would be you'll be massively slower than the rest of the
group. The one thing that does give Chubby an advantage on, though, is that he now has the choice, as long as he stays out of accidents and nothing happens to him, he has the choice of pitting whenever he wants to throw on a set of soft tires, and he will absolutely be guaranteed a set of fresh softs whenever he wants to make the stop. Now, with that said, I think if you really wanted to go with that, then I think a medium soft strategy would have been the way to go. But he's been in some weird positions before. Strategy isn't usually what catches Chubby out. It's normally just overdriving the car. So maybe he knows something that we don't. Well, so much for that. Well, and that's perfect news for Gusty, because Gusty is 10th, and this will promote Gusty up into 9th with both of his championship rivals well out of the points-paying positions.
Good news for Stone Shuffle. He's got 2 cars in front of him, and it's Constant Jet and Fradders. So you'll be trying to get them for position. They're on fresh mediums though, so compared to him, he's on 4-lap old mediums. So positions he's going to aim for.
Snake gets DRS on Collie Boy going down the main straightaway. Ocean Lion is back a little bit farther, ready to capitalize. Collie Boy has DRS on Nissan, but he's not close enough to really take advantage of the draft, so Snake easily goes by on the inside with a DRS overtake, scoots by into the 6th position. Now Ocean Lion has his chance to go after Collie Boy. Chubby has completed his drive-through, and this has dropped him back there in the 16th position behind his teammate Punitive Shoe. And now I wouldn't be so confident about Chubby's chances now, because now he has to make up a bunch of time, basically. Even a full-course safety car really isn't going to help him, because even in the scenario of a full-course safety car, either he'll be left out there on older, harder tires, or he'll pit with everyone else, and he could have good rubber but would still be buried in the field. I think it's been so hard for drivers to make their way up through the grid. The only way to do so, basically, is to be on much softer, much fresher tires for a long period of time. If that doesn't happen, I think for both Stone Shuffle and Chubby Spark, this might really badly hurt them in the championship fight.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's like this track. It's so hard to make your way back through the field, especially in real life. We've seen it plenty of times. We've seen it a few times. But even though
your mic's imploding again, Torpedo. Your mic is dead. Your mic has killed itself. It's nothing but static now. Can you try again? Try talking again? I don't know. I'm not very good at troubleshooting this kind of stuff. Alright, as we turn our focus back onto the racetrack once more. Exits the spot, has closed in on Fiend. Fiend, after spinning earlier, he's recovered back up into the 12th position on a set of medium tires. So his tires are a little bit fresher than most of the people directly around him. Punitive Shoe trying to make something happen with Dave Ewart, and Shelby just far enough back that he's not able to do anything yet. And your race leader, V8 Irons, is coming into the pits. This will give the race lead to Jaleband, assuming that he's not going to pit as well. No, Jaleband will stay out, so he will inherit the lead, but Irons is only going to lose one position because he's just so far away from the rest of the field. Boothie in third, he will come out and will likely be able to sneak by his teammate, but only just. Snake there in fourth can stay out on this set of tires for a little bit longer if necessary.
Stone Shuffle's on the back of Constant Jet, hoping to try and get up to 18th.
Ocean Lion and Wild Nissan both pitted. They've thrown on a set of medium tires each. Irons now gets by Boothie. I don't know if that was just planned or what, but Irons just walked by Boothie like he wasn't there. So advantage goes back to Irons because Jaleband will have to pit sooner rather than later. So now Gusty up into 7th position. Next driver up on his list will be Collie who is running 6th at the moment. Punitive Shoe lets his teammate Shelby Spark go now. So Shelby is now up into 13th position, trying to look at Dave Ewart. Dave has just been earning time penalty after time penalty on that set of medium tires. Now Jaleband pitting out of the lead, so the lead will go back to V8 Irons without issue. Does Boothie pit? No, Boothie stays out. As does Snake and Lucky do, so it's going to be a three-way fight for what's going to be second going down the straightaway here. DRS is in Snake's favor. Boothie defends the inside aggressively. That keeps Lucky Do locked. Here comes Lucky Do with a bonsai boot to the inside. There's a little bit of contact. Boothie has to back out. So Boothie falls from 2nd to 4th in the straightaway. And now here comes Collie and Collie has a run on Boothie himself, so he's going to try and take 4th before this lap is over. Shelby has gotten by Dave Ewart. Now he's trying to run down XRL Flavor, who's up there in the 11th position right now. Collie another time penalty. Boothie, I think the soft tires have totally gone off the cliff because Boothie has lost all touch with the top 3 now. Looks like he's going to lose a position to Collie here. And Collie may have mistaken the S's, and now Collie already cut back up to Boothie. I think for Boothie, there's no choice. He has to get off those tires now. Coming into the pits now is Boothie. No, he's not. He's staying out another lap. But that's going to leave him open to attack from Gusty. Gusty dives to the inside, side drafts him just a little bit down the straight and will easily take the position. AKB uses DRS to get by Gusty, and Lucky Do has overtaken Snake up there for 2nd. So a lot of DRS overtakes happening at this point in the event. Fiend right there behind exits the spot. Thinking about it, but not willing to commit yet. He'll probably do it on this next straightaway if he exits with good enough speed. He does not. X puts the power down very nicely out of 3, and that just keeps Fiend behind.
Stone Shuffle's just breezed by Brothers on the main straight, up to 17th.
But for Stone Shuffle, he is still 13 seconds out from the fight that's going on between Wild Nissan and Ocean Lion, so for Stone Shuffle, there's no way around it. He needs a full course yellow to bunch the entire field up, making up 13 seconds just on the 16th place, and it's going to be closer, honestly, like 20 or 22 seconds to get back into the points. I don't see that happening. Oh, there's Van Essen. That's exits the spot. He's back underway now, but X drops out of the points paying position down to 12th, so that promotes Flavor back into 10th now.
Punitive Shoe just got past Dave Ewart for 13th from the little DRS straight heading into the stadium section right now.
And now Chubby has caught Flavor for 9th position as Boothie has finally gotten off those very worn soft tires. So Chubby should be in a good position to make a DRS overtake on Flavor and get himself back into 9th. So Chubby, despite being on hard tires, is making his way up through the field bit by bit. The question now is, when does Snake and Collie-Boy, when do the two of them elect to get off their medium tires? They are now on the oldest tires on the entire grid. AKB is right there behind Collie-Boy.
X-Spot sent it on the inside of Flavor. He's up the back, he's in the points up into P10.
So X in the middle of a small recovery drive. Gusty has caught Snake and Collie-Boy, so Gusty trying to break into the podium. He needs to get by these two and then catch Snake as well. And in Gusty's favor, AKB is on older soft tires. Collie and Snake are on much older medium tires. So for Gusty, everything's working out well. And there we are. We see Collie-Boy coming into the pits. And that will drop Collie-Boy down to about 8th or 9th position. Snake pitted as well, actually. I didn't notice that at first, but Snake did pit. So now Chubby is back up into the 7th position. And Gusty is now 4th, trying to work over AKB. Those pit stops for Snake and Collie-Boy really did not work out. The field has not spread out as much as the two of them would have liked to. Snake is now down in 14th and Collie in 16th.
Something's happened with the Ferrari punted to the shoe. He's just dropped. If he calls the yellow flags, I think he might have been like spun a little bit.
Well, now he has an entire field of cars bearing down on him going into turn 4. The good news, though, he will have corner choice for the next few corners. Oh, and Collie-Boy's gone around. And Collie-Boy spins, and there's significant front wing damage on that car. And what looked like a good top 5 run is now falling apart for the Alfa Romeo driver. Snake on fresh softs, putting pressure on Peter Shoe. Exits the spot, has just gotten by Chubby. So even very worn softs are still faster than relatively good hards around here, it would appear. Shu needs to get DRS off of Wild Nissan here in order to hold on to 12th for the moment. It's not going to matter though. Snake way faster, putting the power down. He is already alongside the Ferrari. It's a drag race before DRS kicks in. Both cars get DRS at the same time, but the McLaren is way faster than the Ferrari. The Ferrari falls in line, peeks back to the inside, thinks better of it. So it looks like Chubby's march forward has stalled out in about 8th position. Exits the spot, although he had spun earlier and fallen out of the points, has, on that same set of tires he spun out on, charged his way back up into the top 7. So I think X might be low-key one of the faster drivers here. He just needs to, be consistent and minimize mistakes right now. He is already opening a gap on Chubby as we speak. Shu has completely fallen all the way down to 13th, and Snake gets by Flavor. Flavor made a mistake in the S's. Snake gets by him. Now Snake is into the points paying positions on those fresh softs. Now it's Nissan's turn to see what he can do to his teammate. And X pitting, getting off his soft tires. That will give Chubby DRS down the straight and completely clean traffic ahead of him. And Snake sets the fastest lap time of the day now, 1:18.480, back there in the 9th position. No full course yellows in this race. All we've had has been a few virtual safety cars. And right now, your points leader, Gusty, hanging out in 4th position, very happy with the way this race is going. One of his championship rivals not even close to the points paying positions. His other one barely in. And trying to overcome a drive-through penalty served earlier. At the front, though, V8 Irons fought with Fiend for most of USA until the last restart and then walked off there. Now Irons is trying to pick up where he left off there and continues to just walk off all on his own. He is putting pressure on Collie right now so he can put that Alfa Romeo a lap down. The Irons 5.3 seconds up from Lucky Do, and although Irons does have a time penalty, it's only 3 seconds worth, so he still has a net 2-second gain over that fight. Jelebin gets by Gusty using DRS going down the straightaway. Jelebin has slightly fresher medium tires than Gusty at the moment, and Fiend is there as well, ready to capitalize. But he's not close enough to directly do anything. Snake gets by Dave Ewart with no issue in the DRS zone, and a little bit farther back, you can see Ocean Lion moves by Flavor in the DRS zone as well. And that's the full course safety car. And absolutely nobody was in a position to take advantage and pit at the moment the safety car came out over the people ahead of him. So I think everyone's going to be pitting, but this is what Stone Shuffle needed, and now the entire race has been blown open. Your leader comes into the pits. Your second place, Lucky Do, is coming in. I imagine AKB will come in as well. I don't think we're going to see a lot of positions changing, but I do think we will see a lot of drivers putting on different tires. The thing is, we're still 17 laps away from the end of this race, and the softs will not last that long. So medium tires might be the call for this point. Top 7, all pitting. Will Snake pit out of 8th? He has fresh softs. No, Snake will not pit, so this will move him up a bunch of positions. But nearly everyone else is pitting. Nissan's pitting, Punitive Shoes pitting, Ocean Line's pitting, Flavor is pitting, Boothie. Is Exits the Spot going to pit? He literally just put on fresh softs. Yes, Exits the Spot is going to pit. Stone Shuffle obviously is going to pit. He wants off of that set of medium tires. Constant Jet, he's coming into the pits now. And I imagine Fratters will do the same. So everyone, with the exception of XRL Snake, pits under this safety car. Look at this, though. Really interesting thing here. AKB in 4th. He's going to be restarting on hard tires in the 4th position. One of the most bizarre choices I think we see on this entire grid. And this will be a very long safety car because the field was pretty strung out. Collie Boy had just gone a lap down to Irons, and Fratters was a few laps away from going a lap down when this happened. So it's going to take a little bit of time for the entire field to properly gather up. I don't think we'll be seeing the green flag until about lap 22 at best. X hits the spot, gets a penalty for ignoring the yellow flags. That doesn't really make sense considering right now his entire goal is just to try and catch the back of the field, but it stands right now, top 8 already all gathered together. Dave Ewart there in 9th. He's just about to catch the back of the field. And Nissan should catch the back of the field by the time we get to the end of the straightaway here. He's there. So now the false punitive shoe to catch. It'll be close. I don't know if Fratters will be able to catch the rear of the grid by the time this lap is over or not, but we'll be close. So the top 10, top 11 now have all gathered together. Ocean Lions is 4 seconds out and closing with speed. So he's basically caught the back of the grid now. Boothie is there. He's caught the back almost right away as well. Flavor is still about 4.5 seconds out, but when he catches, I'll also let X catch. So everyone now is on set tires. Now the interesting thing is AKB and everyone who's on mediums can go to the end on their tires. Snake is going to have to pit again. Those softs are not going to hold up for the rest of the day. Dave Ewart and Nissan are going to be the fastest drivers on the track, but they're going to have to pit again. All right, Flavor now just about to catch the back. X has caught him, and Stone Shuffle is behind them as well. So now it's just between Constant Jet and Fratters. Will they catch before this lap is over? I don't think so. So we may not be going green until lap 23. Nope, there we are. Safety cars coming in this lap. Okay, so V8 Irons, how much will he back the field up? Lucky Dew and Irons are even on time penalties. Snake has none, but Snake will have to pit one more time. So it's going to be between a Haas and another Aston Martin here for the victory, for the win, or at least the lead of the race. Coming to the green flag. Great job by the top two. Snake did not have a great restart. AKB on the hards, already making a move on Snake, who is on soft tires. And that's going to let the top two pull away a bit. Side by side for third. A little bit of contact. Shelby sees his championship rival Gusty right ahead of him, nearly right beside him. They're 3 wide further up in the field. It looks like it could be a massive mess. AKB and Snake have both lost position to 11. Here comes Fiend, here comes Gusty, here comes Shelby around the outside. They're 3 wide and 4 back out of it. It's all a matter of getting lucky with the right lane. Looks like the battle settled down relatively quickly at least. Punitive Shoe fell off the back just a little bit, but basically everyone from third on back to 10th, they're all caught in what will become a massive DRS train as the top two have opened up a massive gap. Snake, time penalty, Nissan goes way off circuit. That lets Punitive Shoe by. Now here comes Ocean Line for the position. Nissan gets trying to fight back against Punitive Shoe, and he will hold on. Completing a pass on the outside in the stadium section, very, very hard to do, but he made it stick. Fiend, right there behind AKB. 11 has already opened up a significant gap on the Mercedes, no DRS, so every overtake you see here is either driver ability or capitalizing on someone else's mistake. Nothing done right through there. Shelby trying to do anything he can to find a way by Gusty. He needs to be ahead of Gusty to start closing the points gap to get himself and the points leader down. AKB leading this little train right now, doing good enough to hold Fiend off on hard tires. Now they go through the S's once more. Oh, Gusty with a big twitch. Shelby looking to try and capitalize, but he's not close enough to do anything, and with no DRS, he's just going to have to hold on behind. There you go, Nissan, Punitive Shoe fighting again for the 10th and 11th positions. Punitive Shoe gets it this time. Ocean Line goes around the back, and now Ocean Line goes into Punitive Shoe's rear end. And that drops Punitive Shoe back behind Nissan. Ocean Line with the damage to the car now falls all the way to 18. Significant damage to that machine. And they'll have to bring that car into the pit lane to repair the wing damage. AKB finally gets back by Fiend. Going down the straight, Fiend had a better launch, but it looks like AKB has better straight line speed. Oh, and Gusty goes around and Shelby has to cut the circuit to avoid. And that's a virtual safety car. And Gusty, your points leader, has a spin and is dropped all the way down to the 15th position. The entire front ring ripped off that car. Stone Shuffle now sees the points leader. He's like, hey man, what's going on? Flavor got by without issue. I think X got by without issue. Boothie got by without issue. I can't see for Dave Ewart, but this puts the field into a virtual safety car. That will help Ocean Line a bit. He doesn't use as much. Dave Ewart has some significant front wing damage. Punitive Shoe got away from it. He's now back into the points while Nissan is in 8th. And Shelby Spark, he saw the spin. He immediately just took to the grass, cut right through the entire green stuff to avoid any contact whatsoever. And now Shelby is the only championship contender in the points paying positions. And Snake has a penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. And AKB is pitting as well, just ahead of him. He's not the only one. Dave Ewart's paying to repair that damage, and we will see Gusty paying as well. Lucky Dew has just gotten by Irons on the straight. So the DRS worked out in Iron's favor. And Gusty's had an accident trying to come into the pit lane. The car is still alive, but he loses even more time now. Gusty may be at serious threat of going a lap down. But for the lead, things have changed. Lucky Do has led over Irons for the first time today, but Irons is still there, ready to fight back. While Nissan there in 6th, he sees Shelby Spark ahead. He wants that 5th position, but Nissan needs to realize he's in the middle of a Ferrari sandwich. And Peanut Shoe, after getting dumped earlier by Ocean Lion, is not going to be happy. He's going to want to charge back up through the grid a bit. There'll be 11 laps to go at the line. The fight for the lead has kicked on. Lucky is leading. Irons has DRS though and can fight back down the straightaway. These two have been in a class of their own all day today. Lucky defends the inside. Irons easy DRS overtake around the outside.
Oh, Stone Shuffle lost the back end of the final corner and lost the position to Constant Jet.
Stone Shuffle has gotten up to 12th. This is the closest he's been in the points since the first laps of the day. But he is still out on the outside looking in. Flavor fighting with exits the spot for 9th position, and it looks like he's going to take it. Snake pitting now. He's already served his drive-through. Now he pits. Gusty has to pit. Oh no, that's not Gusty. I'm sorry, that's Ocean Lion. Ocean Lion pitted to put on new tires or serve a penalty or something. I don't know why, but he did just come out of the pits. But right now, Snake and Gusty both at risk of going a lap down depending on how the rest of this race goes. Fiend has caught Jalabend for 3rd. So Fiend fighting back up to the grid. He goes around the outside, diving into Stadium. He's got the track position, but gives it back to Jalabend to avoid any penalties or contacts.
Constant Jet went off on the last S's, so so Stone Shuffle's just got back to the position.
Irons back to the lead, fastest lap. Lucky Do is within DRS range though, and is closing back rapidly. He could have another shot at the lead going into turn 4. Fiend overtakes Jalabend with DRS assist, and Shelby Spark is now there in 5th, just hanging out, wanting to capitalize if he can. So everything has turned out very well for Shelby, all things considered. Yellow flag in Sector 1. That's Nissan. He has a spin, and that drops him out of the points. And now Stone Shuffle, it's taken him a long time, but Stone Shuffle is finally back in the points-paying positions today.
He's chasing down Flavor for 8th for the moment. He's struggling since Flavor is on the softs.
And now the leaders come through Stadium once more, and the battle for lead is going to heat up again. Lucky Do close enough to get DRS. Will he make a drive on V8 Irons for position? He's already closed just a little bit before they even get to the DRS opening zone. Now it's down to half a second, 4/10, a third, a quarter. He's looking to the inside, goes to the outside, not able to pull alongside. He's trying to straight line these corners to get a good run on the second straightaway. Will have DRS again. And Shelby gets by Jalabend now. So now moves Shelby up into the 4th position. Although Shelby has time penalties, Jalabend doesn't, so that will go back in Jalabend's favor unless Shelby opens up a significant gap. Irons holding the lead over Lucky Do for the moment now. Snake, fastest lap, 1:17.3. The bad news though for Snake, he's down there in the 17th position. Oh, and Irons gets another time penalty. Lucky Do only has 3 seconds. Iron has 6, so right now this turns the battle back in Lucky Do's favor. So Irons needs to start opening up a gap on Lucky Do and needs to do it fast. Stone Shuffle gets by Flavor for 8th. So Stone Shuffle's turned his day around, I'd say, back in the points. And either him or Shelby may inherit the points lead after this day is over, unless something really fortunate befalls Gusty. Lucky Deuce still hanging out behind Irons, but now he knows that Irons has more time penalties than he does, so Lucky just needs to hang out behind the Aston Martin for a while and let himself win on penalty countback. Thing is, it's still 7 laps to go. There's still a risk that Haas could get another time penalty. Fratters now has a time penalty for track violations. Fratters, Constant Jet fighting for the 11th and 12th positions. A little bit of contact. Fratters gets by Constant Jet. Constant just trying desperately to do whatever he can. He just wants to earn points this season. He has not been able to score a single point all season long. This is the closest he's been this year. But Fratters seems to have that car dialed up. As I say that though, Fratters goes off circuit. But Constant cannot seem to keep up on those medium tires. AKB, a time penalty now for track violations. For the lead, though. Lucky Do still has DRS on Irons, but isn't really pressuring Irons because he knows that on penalty countback he has this one. Gusty time penalty back there in 18th, just making a bad day worse. All the good news is it looks like neither Snake X hits the spot or Gusty are at risk of going a lap down. And Constant Jet's had a spin at the end of the front straightaway and will totally lose touch with the top 10. Elsewhere on track, Stone Shuffle is closing in on Boothie. So Stone is not done yet. He is climbing his way up through the field. Working on Boothie now. Dave Ewart has a time penalty, but again, he's out of points, so it doesn't really affect the way this race goes at the moment. Constant Jet now another time penalty. Ocean Lion now gets a time penalty. Stone Shuffle just outside of DRS range on Boothie. At the front, though.
Went past Constant Jet. Ooh, little Constant will fight back. But Constant has to admit defeat.
Now Constant drops to 13th at this point, and he has Ocean Line behind on fresher tires. Constant's so close to earning points today. He was running in 11th at one point, and it's just all falling apart now. He's beginning to hemorrhage spots on the racetrack. Fiend now has a time penalty for track violations. But the real fight is for the lead. Lucky Dude just trying to hang on to Iron's rear end. As long as he does that, he'll win this race on penalty countback. But if that Haas gets another penalty before this race is over, he'll need to start taking the fight to Irons once more. Of note, Irons has been using almost all of his ERS. Lucky Do has a little bit more ERS in his favor. So if necessary, Lucky might be able to make one really good hard charge to get by the Aston Martin. But for right now, he doesn't have to push too hard for it. Farther back, Stone Shuffle within DRS range of Boothie. Boothie has had a very strong day today. It looks like he's going to be able to finish top 10. Normally, we're used to him seeing him qualify very well and then kind of drop through the grid as the race goes on. But Boothie, on pace and strategy, has maintained a top 10 position all day long. And AKB's had an accident! Where is that? Is that in the pits? Yeah, AKB crashed coming into the pits, apparently. Either that or he retired in the pits. I don't know which one is the case. No, I think he's retired in the pits because the game is...
His car's still moving.
And this could be a little bit of an issue for the leaders because the Mercedes will be just in front of our lead 2 drivers. Dave Ewart being held up by AKB, he's really not going to be happy about that. Irons is starting to open up the gap on Lucky Do now.
Oh, this could damage the leaders if they're not careful.
Boy, did it. Irons had to compromise his line. He was starting to open up a gap on Lucky Do, and now that gap shrinks, although Lucky Do looks like he had to compromise his own line afterwards.
Yep, his car is pulled over.
Four laps to go. Lucky Do still has advantage when it comes to time penalties against Irons. Constant Jet and Gusty pitting farther back there. This will trap Gusty a lap down though. But they will be on fresh soft tires as Gusty wants to see if he can take fastest lap point. But with 3 laps to go, I don't think a full course yellow could really save Gusty's day at this point. He's just going to try and hope that he can snag the point for fastest lap of the day.
Yeah.
Lucky Do. Oh, everything's changed now. Lucky Do, 6 seconds of time penalties. So we're back. Irons is back to leading over Lucky Do. Lucky is in a position where once again now he has to get by Irons. And Gus and Dave Ewarts had an accident in the S's. No caution for the full track just through the field. The car is totally off circuit though. But frustration for Dave Ewart. The real frustration though, and Pierre Deschutes gets another time penalty. So that will likely promote Stone Shuffle up into 6th post-race. Lucky Do hanging on to Irons. He has 2 laps to try and get by the man who has dominated the entire field all day.
Double DNF in it off the No Boys, which is very unfortunate and not the way they would have liked to end the year. There's a constant Jet pits again for front wing damage. I think that occurred off of X hits the spot.
Snake another time penalty, so neither McLaren got it into final round qualifying. It looks like neither McLaren is going to be finishing in the points either. Lucky Do is faster than Irons down the straight, but not fast enough to actually pull alongside. Every time Lucky starts to commit to a line, Irons immediately slides up and blocks it. And Shelby now gets a time penalty. So everyone in the top 4 now has 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Shelby has gotten by Gusty. Oh, and Fiend now has 9 seconds worth. So that's not going to help Fiend at all. Lucky still behind Irons. They're coming to the white flag. This will be his last chance to get by the Aston Martin. Does the Haas have anything he can do for this? Doesn't look like it. Irons had a really good drive coming out of the final corner. DRS does go in Lucky's favor, but he was already 3/4 of a second back. He's back on to half a second back, down to 1/3 of a second, a quarter, a fifth, a tenth. He's on the outside. The Haas pulls alongside, but has to back out in turn 1. Both of the leaders' lines get compromised through 1, 2, and 3. A Lucky Dude gets one more shot down the second DRS straight. Side by side for the lead on the last lap. Lucky Dude to the inside, powers by. Irons sticking around the outside. Irons has the corner of choice in turn 5, and he'll run Lucky Dude off circuit. Irons takes the lead back. We are en route to what might be one of the best finishes this entire season, if not the best finish in X3. Irons leading Lucky 2. Lucky is trying to charge back coming out of the S's. There's one DRS straight left. Then Lucky can throw it up the inside of Irons on. It's the last lap coming into stadium. Here he comes, side by side, contact, and then Haas goes around and spins, and Fane hits him. And Irons will go on to win the race. Chubby is going to walk out here with second place position by the looks of it. Fane falls to third. Lucky was able to recover from fourth. Pikachu, Jalebin fighting for position, and Jalebin gets sideways, spins, and recovers the car, but now he's under threat from Stone Shuffle potentially. Jalebin will still get 5th. Stone Shuffle will get 6th. Pikachu 7th. Oh, and Wild Nissan last lap. And he loses positions there. It looks like... did he run out of fuel? No, he didn't run out of fuel, but something's gone. Tire! The tires... You don't see tire failures happen very often. But on the last lap, Wild Nissan blows the tire and will not be in position to earn points.
Oh, he's in the wall.
And that's it. No, he's still alive. Somehow.
He's gonna limp home. 13th.
Rough.
Very, very interesting end to the race as well. And that one will be talked about, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Driver of the day, XRL Flavor. I could agree with that. We didn't talk about Flavor very much, but he actually was making a lot of moves on his own merit. And with good strategy, he actually finished good top 10 finish. But once again, back-to-back wins for V8 Irons. An outstanding job on his part. Dominated, led almost the entire race, but still had to hold off for a crazy last lap fight there.
Also, just to put into note, pump to the shoe, brilliant race from him as well. Coming back from being last for most of the race and to finish in P6, that's good for him. Chubby finishing second after a drive-through, so they made brilliant comebacks in this race as well, just to add on.
Yeah, this is without a doubt a very, very interesting race. The rough one is Gusty, though, not able to get back into the points after spending most of the first part of the day in the points-paying positions. It's going to be very, very rough for them. We're going to try and get Irons into the party here. Outstanding job on his part. Also, fastest lap of the day goes to Snake in the end. So, all right, coming to the party now is V8 Irons. Irons, it's just like a repeat of last week, only way more intense. Congratulations on the pull to victory, but walk us through those last laps from your perspective, please.
Yeah, they were very, it was difficult. My heart was pounding from chest. I was trying to manage fuel as well. On that last lap, I literally went no fuel mode on the last corner.
For a long period there, for a long period there, Irons, you had 6 seconds of penalties while the Haas behind you had 3 seconds. And then on the last lap, the two of you evened out on time penalties. And I won't lie, the fight you two had was probably the best we've had all season long at the end of a race.
No, thank you. It was okay. He made a comment about calling me Max, but you know, I've got to fight for position. I made it fair as much as I can. He went for a bit of a late move in the stadium section. And yeah, it is what it is. It was a good
Alright, Irons. Alright, Irons, now the question I do have to ask. It's been said a lot that Mexico and USA are relatively similar circuits. You dominated at USA. You dominated here today. Do you think it's just because of these tracks, or do you think you can carry this domination forward through the rest of the season?
Hopefully. I've now won on 2 circuits that are probably one of my weakest. So it can, it's pretty good. Got to carry on going forward. It's not too bad. The points wise as well, I'm getting up there, so got to put pressure on them boys.
Alright, I just want to say outstanding job, Irons. I would say driver of the day, if not for a fact that we kind of expected this from you, but I'm just going to say the way that you kept control, especially with that late bonsai move from the Haas, outstanding. You can consider me a fan at this point.
Thanks. Cheers, mate.
Alright, Next, I want to go ahead and talk to our second place finisher and pole sitter for today's race, Chubby Spark. Chubby started on the pole, but were on worse tires than everyone else at the start of the race, and you basically never touched the softs all day today, and still came home second. How in the world did you do that? Also, you did that after coming back from a drive-thru penalty. How in the world did you do any of that?
I'm pretty sure the safety car on lap 20 helped me out loads. I don't know. Honestly, I think everybody in front of me there's a couple of people that had to pit, and there was a drive-through under that VSC. So I kind of got lucky with that, and then I had into the last second last what is it called, lap. I had 3 seconds of penalties, and I just overstepped the mark a little bit, got 6 seconds, and I was panicking because I wanted that third place. But luckily Fiend got in the final lap, got a penalty, and then whatever happened with the Lukey Doo guy, that gave me second, so I am ecstatic for that. I mean, I am thankful. I think that might put me in front of Gusty. Should that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Gusty did not walk out of here with any points whatsoever, despite the fact that he spent the first half of the race in the top 7. So yeah, it's going to be between you and Stone Shuffle for the points lead now. I can't say exactly who, but the gap between the two of you will be very close for the points lead.
I got very lucky with everybody getting out of my way, and honestly, I have no idea how I came back. I was 16th in my first pit stop, or my second pit stop, or technically my drive-through. So I'm really happy. I maybe could have snatched first since he was only 2.8 seconds. If I didn't get that penalty on the second last lap, but I don't know. That's a good race for me. And good win,
All right.
Irons. Good win.
Thank you.
Did you
All right, so
I did
now-
you a worldie holding up everybody at the start for you.
Yeah, you did actually. Yeah. Cheers, man. Great recovery drive as well from you.
All right, so now, Chubby, the question is, you've gone through a long string of races where you either didn't finish or you were classified at the finish but weren't actually running at the finish, lost the points lead. It looks like, though, your fortunes are starting to turn back around. So do you think the championship hope and championship drive is back alive and well, or do you still see yourself on the outside?
I think it could be well. I'm really good at the last couple circuits, so it should be. I'm good. I haven't raced them a lot yet, so I mean, I hope I'm good. Gusty has not been turning up good finishes, so hopefully it's just score some good points, maybe get a win, and comes down to the end.
All right, well, thanks for being willing to talk with us, Chubby. Great job on your podium. And now I want to talk to Stone Shuffle. I'm going to be honest. I should just put you on speed dial every single race. I'm always like, oh man, I think in my head, oh man, this is it for Stone Shuffle. His great run of finishes is going to end here. Something's gone wrong. And you always seem to persevere and get back into the points and close the gap again on somebody else. This time, easily you're going to be overtaking Gusty in the points after today's race after being half a lap down for over half the race. Walk us through the race from your perspective, Shuffle.
Yeah, so I made a bit of a mistake in the final turn because a couple of turns before that, Fiend was sideways and I had to take avoiding action, and my teammate today made a move on the inside of me, unsettled me a little bit. I spun up the rears, overheated them, so when I came into the final turn I just put the power down and ended up facing the wall and losing my front wing. I then had to wait for the whole field to pass before I could spin the car round, and like you say, by the time the pit stop was done I was miles down. So all I could really do was just get the head down and keep the consistent laps and pray for a safety car. There was a couple of VSCs that did me no good, but then the safety car finally came, but because that did, everybody was on the same tyre strategy as me, so I had to battle my way through the field. So it was like the whole thing was against me, so I just had to line up the overtakes, get them done, and try and keep it clean to make it back up into a decent points position. I'm kind of gutted because if I hadn't done that, I came through the race with 1 warning. So if I'd been somewhere around about the leaders, I would have won the race. So I'm a little bit frustrated because by the laps, I had a quick look at the laps and what times folk were putting in. and they were pretty comparable to mine, so I think it would have been there or thereabouts. But once again, a recovery drive. I was saying that in my own stream. I was like, how many times am I going to have to do this?
All right, well, Stone Shuffle, it seems to me that although I don't know if you're going to be leading the points in this race or not, it's going to be close between you and Chubby, but you have now officially overtaken XRL Gusty for at least third and likely second. You might even be in first. I don't know, but we know that you're now ahead of Gusty, and there's only one more driver now between you and the points lead. Championship hopes, how do you feel about them now after today's event?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be up there, which is great. It's obviously a good position to be in. I think, as you say, Chubby had a good drive today. I don't think we can... V8 Irons is, like, absolutely pummeling the race wins at the moment, so I wouldn't even count him out if he manages to put a really good run together. So these guys are both quick. I guess for me, it's just about trying not to make that mistake in the race and making it a recovery drive.
All right. Well, we're about two-thirds of the way through, almost two-thirds of the way through the season. As it stands right now, actually, you know what, Irons, I'll go ahead and include you into this, because Stone Shuffle obviously thinks that you're a championship contender, so we might as well count you as one after your strong back-to-back victories. The three of you here, plus Gusty, who's elected not to jump into the booth, where it stands right now, who do you think out of the four of you has the best chance of walking out of this season with the title?
That's a tough one. I won't include me in there. But yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe if I get one more win this week, whenever the next race, maybe. But I'd probably count myself, but I'm just happy to race I joined way through the season, so to see. Mainly these two, they're the ones you got to look out for.
Well, I'm going to put the pressure on Chubby and say it's his title to lose.
All right, Chubby, do you have any response to that? All right, he may have stepped away, actually, for the second. All right. Well, either way, I'm not going to keep this broadcast going on way longer than it needs to. Talk to the main title contenders that finished well, and talk to the winner. Again, Irons, those last two laps, mainly that last lap especially, outstanding stuff. Very nice, cool, calm, collected. I'm actually really, really excited about that. If you pull off a stock championship drive, I wouldn't be too surprised at this point.
Thank you, mate.
All right. But anyways, that will pretty much wrap up our broadcast here from Mexico. XRL is going to be off for the next 2 weeks due to Christmas and New Year's break. Afterwards, it will be coming back in January of 2022 when the series goes to Brazil. But anyways, that's been it here. I've been your host for today's race in St. Lear 13. I've been joined by XRL Torpedo. I want to thank you all for being here with us, and farewell, everyone.